will always be there to bless us with His love and His mercy, 'cause as He promised, He will always be there. He's always watching us, guiding us, and He knows what's deep in our hearts. So when you lose your way, to Allah you should turn, 'cause as He promised, He will always be there. Allahu Akbar.
Basically, a lot of documentaries that have been made have been about the immigrant experience, the immigrant Muslim experience here in the United States, and the story of the indigenous Muslim, as far as the African American, the white Muslim, and the Latino Muslim, has kind of been neglected, and that story hasn't been told so much. You have stories about like Malcolm X, but nothing really too much after that period. So I wanted America and different people throughout the world to experience the struggle of American Muslims who are indigenous, who are not immigrants to the United States.
You grew up Jason Perez, Roman Catholic, and then at a certain point in your life you decided to convert to Islam, and now your name is Hamza Perez. What happened in your life to cause you to make such a change?
Basically, different things throughout life. People try to get happiness from money, from clothes, from partying, and none of that stuff really quenched my thirst of what real happiness was. To me, real happiness comes from the source of the one who created happiness, and that's the Creator. So no matter what I was involved in, whether if I had money, whether if I was partying, it was never true happiness. And when I found out and I experienced a relationship with God through Islam, then that was the ultimate form of happiness. And me changing my name, I didn't change it legally, because in Islam you don't have to change your name unless your name is directly connected to idol worship. So legally my name is still Jason Perez, but Hamza was kind of a name that I took on to kind of like shed some of my past and my negative characteristics and my negative influences of maybe people I was hanging around with, to kind of start like a new mentality. But my name is still Jason, and I have no problem with people calling me Jason as well.
That past included drug dealing, right?
Yep, I used to sell drugs from an early age. Used to smoke a lot of weed and seen a lot of things in the streets, and seeing these lifestyles, it just, when you know when something's wrong, then you can identify when something's right. And to me, there was nothing more right than what Islam had to offer.
And you address a bunch of different challenges that you've experienced
definitely.
yourself.
As far as like discrimination, as far as more global issues, stuff that's going on in the Middle East, and stuff that's going on against Muslims right here in the United States.
Since you bring that up, I want to ask you, do you think 8.5 years after the September 11th attacks, there's still a stigma, there's still a stereotype, and there's still a lot of challenges and barriers that stand in the way for Muslim Americans?
Definitely. I think people was caught up in some type of illusion with the new administration, and I think it's gotten even worse. I've seen more harassment and more aggressive approach to American Muslims in the new administration, almost in the first and last year, than the Bush administration.
You're speaking about U.S. President Barack Obama.
Yeah, definitely. You know, since Obama has been in office, Muslim Americans have been murdered, you know, secretly detained, more than the first year of Bush being in the office and his last year. So to us, it's, you know, as American Muslims, we don't get too much caught up in the hype, you know.
Did you before
No.
he became president?
No, not at all.
You didn't believe the change?
I've never voted in my life, you know, and I believe that change comes from an individual, by that person changing themselves, and changing their home, then trying to change their community, and then you work your way up. But we can't expect a president to change our condition. We have to change it ourselves, and we have to be our own voice and define our own selves. Shooting a three-pointer and having an iPod as a president doesn't change nothing for me. You know, it's still the same system from before, and it's still the same approach. Just now the president walks with a little bit of swag and he listens to Jay-Z and his iPod. Doesn't mean that Muslims got it better. We actually have it worse.
Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thank you.